Hey folks, welcome to Black Gumbo. How about a garden tour and a radish review? Let's go. So the cauliflower looks wonderful. Glad I spaced them the way I did. I knew they would get big, but that gives them plenty of room. Cabbages are looking great. I'm real pleased with these. Speaking of cabbages, one of the benefits of growing your food from seeds is that you have a surplus that you can plug in. If you lose something, you can plug in where you pull something else up, and you can keep those little seedlings going in your up-potted cups and keep them around if you need them. One of the other benefits is you can share them. I'm a pastor at a church, and I took some radishes and cabbages and cauliflowers to my congregation and shared them. And I found out that some of them are even watching my gardening videos. So man, what a joy to do that. It's a fun thing to share.
You know what a trap crop is?
Listen to that. People actually sharing what they learned on their video.
Black Gumbo. That's my Christmas gift.
I like when I dig up relics from the past gardens. This is a Castelluto Florentino tomato marker. They grew in here. I remember that being a beautiful tomato. I could be eating this kale. That's a nice one. This is that dinosaur kale, that Nero de Toscano, I believe they call it. Yeah, man, I had that seed for years. That's old seed. I love that blue-green color. Have you ever had turnips? I don't think you've had good turnips. These are good turnips. Look at this.
If turnips are good.
We got some turnips growing down in there, red turnips. Delicious. And all this green is going to be good stuff. We're going to cook that with a turkey leg.
Is that so?
That's so. So what I've done here, I've gone in and put some lettuce in each of these holes and a few of them out in there. Phoebe, quit blowing in and out of my video. You're supposed to be gimpy. You pulled your hamstring. I love when the sun comes in from this angle in the morning in the winter time. It illuminates the plants. There's something nice about that. I've been trying to thin my carrots. Looks like somebody sat down in the middle of them. I've been harvesting my radishes, but I haven't harvested my beets. They're kind of slow, but they are starting to bulb up, as you can see. I like these beets. Got some lettuce growing along the edge. These aren't very tough little fellas. Cosmic purple is the quickest carrot so far. I've got some of them here, and yeah, some of them are bulking up. This was a thinning. This was one that was much too close to its mates. I even spilled some carrots over into these holes here. It's like free food, man. Garden bonus. It's not often you get tomatoes in December. This is that julienne that I grew in the spring, and this whole plant, which I've vined up and looped through here, was a trimming off of the plant I was pruning, and I just threw it over here in my workspace. Later I felt guilty, so I stuck it in some dirt, and it's grown through the summer. It actually grew. It grew a whole nother vine. As you can see, there's the remnants of it, and that one went and died. Here's another sucker wanting to come make another vine, and yeah, this is one that grew. So my fall garden is really bringing me a lot of joy. It's really producing a lot of food for me. A lot of radishes, a lot of turnips, a lot of greens, and soon, I hope soon, it's going to start producing some cabbage for me. So one of the things I've really enjoyed is these winter radishes. I haven't grown the varieties that I have in the ground now ever in the past, And the thing about radishes is there's so many different varieties that they're really fun to get a different one each year and try them. But some radishes benefit from being winter grown or fall grown, and they benefit from cool weather. And the ones that I'm growing in the garden right now, at least one of them, is like that. That Spanish round, black round radish is a winter radish. So yeah, I really like the radishes I'm growing. I want to show you some things that I've done with them too. Well, I have discovered that radishes will grow just fine in a container, a cloth pot. And the question was, since it's a root crop and since a cloth pot is an air pruning system, would they grow up next to the side? The answer is not as well as they grow in the middle. As you can see, there's one right back there that is bulbing up. But the ones in the middle are the strongest ones. So you can. It doesn't seem to be optimal. Look at those guys. See, the closer they are to the edge, like that one right there, the less they want to bulb up. Compared to my radishes in the ground this year, this was just kind of an afterthought. I wanted to have this variety, this Malaga, I think that's how you say it. And man, this is a good radish. Very mild, very wet inside. In fact, let's go cut it open. Every astronaut in NASA is flying today. So we got an airplane every 15 seconds. All right, so this is that Malaga. Look at how pretty it is. I don't know if you can see how juicy and clear that is. Let me see if I can get a thin slice like you might put in a salad. Well, maybe not. But look at that. You can almost see through it. That's a nice one. That's a real mild, kind of a classic salad or garden radish. I'd compare that to the Saxa 2s that I've grown in the past. This is a black Spanish. This is a young one, but you can see they're kind of gnarly on the outside and black. Inside they're snow white. Real pretty radish. Winter radish, they are actually more potent than the other radishes that I'm growing. They are pretty dense, pretty meaty. That's a hearty radish. Pretty strong flavor. It has a little bit of a peppery bite to it. Yeah, that's a pretty potent radish. I grew these Szechuan red. This is a small one. This is actually just a thinning, so I'll cut it open. Sometimes you see them and they're kind of spangled red and white like this. That's really pretty. And sometimes you get them and they're all as red as that right there. They're red all through and through. You can see lots of color there. See if I can eat around the dirt. It's a good radish. I don't think there's enough in that one to really make a determination. I'm going to show you this guy right here. I believe that it's called a Chinese red meat. Yes, it is. They get bigger than this. They get about the size of a softball if you let them. Look what's inside here. Look at so it's a nice green, whitish, pinkish down here, whitish here, fading to green and turning up to a little rosy color at the top. So you know there's going to be something good in here. Oh, this was a lousy example too, but you notice it's got a white ring and it's got this red meat on the inside. So this one's a little immature, but you got a green ring, a little bit of white, and this watermelon color in here. So that's why they call it the watermelon radish. Very mellow, a lot of sweetness to it actually, as far as radishes go. I think that's probably my favorite radish I've grown this year. I like that. Wow, that's really sweet. All right, so out of my radishes this year, I grew 4 varieties. I grew the Spanish black. That's a potent radish. That's like a dinner radish if you're gonna have a big hunk of rye bread and some German beer. Szechuan red, I love this one, but it's my 3rd favorite because it doesn't have a lot of flavor compared to some of the others. This Malaga radish, good all-around radish. That's a cool looking radish. This is my favorite though. Not only because of the novelty of the color, but it tastes really good. I could just snack on that. Let me try this one again though. That's got a lot of water in it. Very juicy. Very mild. Extremely mild. If you are trying to introduce somebody to a radish, this Malaga purple radish might be a good one. Yeah. First place this year. Second place this year. So, what to do with radishes? Check this out. These are all those kinds of radishes that I have in my garden, including the Chinese red meat, the Sichuan red, the black Spanish. There's a couple of those Malagas in there too. Isn't that pretty? This has been fermenting for 3 days and it smells delicious. A little bit of garlic in there, a little bit of pickling spice, and a whole lot of radishes. Alright, so I have some plans for the future because, you know, that garden out there in the fall, it's going so slow. Everything is so slow. And, well, that's why I've been doing these little projects. I've plugged in some lettuce just to see if they'll grow in that nasty unfinished compost in my new raised bed. I've plugged in some excess cabbages in there as well. Man, I got so much cabbage, if all of it will just grow. I'm going to do another experiment too. So Kelly's kitchen garden, Kelly over there in Scotland in my mom's homeland. In fact, look, check that out. That's a beautiful tartan, isn't it? Clan Mackay. Yep. Kelly has grown these microgreens and she learned this from a couple of other guys that she linked to. And I like the way that she got results, and I like the way those other guys got results. It's impressive what these microgreens can do. And so I'm going to grow, so I'm going to do peas, I'm going to do sunflower, and I'm going to do alfalfa sprouts. So I've ordered bulk seed from a new company I'm trying for the first time. If they work out and they do well and the seeds are quality, I'll link you to them. But I'll test them out first. So yeah, that's what the plan is. Going to do microgreens start to finish. That'll take about 2 to 3 weeks to grow those greens. And so whenever that comes to fruition, I'll show you. But I got to have those projects. You just got to have projects to do. Well, thank you for joining us on Black Gumbo Southern Gardening. It's been real nice to share the garden with you this fall. We hope that you'll subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so already, and like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and happy gardening to you. Bye-bye.